this thing done, the quicker they'll be fucking, you know.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, good evening. According to the MacBooks that are to the left and right of me, it's 7:31. Sorry for the little delay, but we're ready to go ahead and proceed. So I'd like to welcome everybody to this meeting of the Village of Skokie Zoning Board of Appeals. The Zoning Board of Appeals is created by the statutes of the state of Illinois and by the ordinances of the Village of Skokie for the purpose of granting proper case relief from the strict terms of our zoning ordinances. The decision of this board to either grant or deny relief will be based upon the evidence presented to it and how that evidence is related to the standards for granting relief. All persons who have an interest in a case, either as a petitioner or as a member of the public, either supporting or opposing the petition, or as an independent witness, will be given a chance to speak on record and to express his or her points of view. The Zoning Board of Appeals is not a court of law, and therefore we do not follow the strict rules of evidence. However, this hearing will be conducted in such a manner as to hear only competent evidence or statements. Questions as to procedure, interpretation, and of the admissibility of statements or evidence will be ruled upon by Corporation Counsel Tyler Kobilski, and his legal decisions will be binding upon this board. Certain cases require covenant running with the land. This will be prepared and recorded by the Village of Skokie Legal Department, and this is done at the petitioner's expense. Whether or not a covenant is required is a determination to be made by the Corporation Counsel at the conclusion of each individual case. If a covenant running with the land is required, it cannot or will not be prepared until our court reporter has returned to the Zoning Board of Appeals a transcript of these proceedings. The Village of Skokie will notify each petitioner when the covenant has been prepared and is ready for signature. No building permits can be applied for or issued until the covenant is signed by the petitioner. Should a petition for variation be denied, or should a covenant not be required, the Board of Trustees will authorize a refund of any required fees. Should it be necessary for the petitioner to request a continuance due to lack of preparation, a case continuation fee of 1/2 of the original application fee is due prior to the rehearing date. This request must be made before any testimony begins. All petitioners must receive a vote of the majority of the Zoning Board President in order to decide any matter under consideration. Our full complement is 9 members, and tonight's complement is 9 members, making 5 votes necessary to make a determination on a petition. So we have 2 cases tonight. We have 2018-11Z, or I'm sorry, 2018-11Z, 3641 to 3647 Dempster Street, and 2018-12Z, 10,071 Skokie Boulevard. And in both these cases, I will ask Corporation Counsel, has proper notice been served and notarized?
Notice is proper and correct.
It is?
It is, except for one case, we'll just have a clarification on it, but it looks to be proper and correct in both.
Okay, great. All right, thank you very much. Okay, and before we go into our cases tonight, in our packet that our court reporter always supplies us with every meeting, we have the notes from the prior 2 meetings that we had in October. The one case was 2018-08Z, 7321 Ridgeway Avenue, which was a motion to approve, pass 7-0. We had 2018-09Z, 8930, 8950 Grosse Point Road, which, let's see, which was bifurcated into a Part A and a Part B. The Part A was a motion to deny, which was approved 7-0, and Part B was a motion to approve, which was passed 7-0. And then we have the minutes from our meeting on October 17th of last month, and that was 2018-10Z, 9500 Karlov Avenue, and a motion to approve was passed unanimously 8-0. So if everybody's had a chance to read these minutes and look them over, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the last 2 meetings.
Motion to approve.
Okay, all right. Motion to approve by Commissioner Shaw. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, by Commissioner Gersner. Everybody in favor, voice vote, please.
Yes.
Okay, anybody opposed? No? Thank you, Marlene, as always. Okay, so minutes are approved from the last two meetings, so we'll go ahead and, we'll go ahead and we'll go straight up into our first case, which is the 2018-11Z, 3647, 3641 and 3647 Dempster Street. And if the petitioner or the petitioner's representative would like to step forward to the podium, I believe Commissioner Perlin is assigned to this case to present it. So, Commissioner.
He is.
All right, Commissioner Perlin, the floor is yours.
Sure. 3647 Dempster LLC, the owner of the property, on behalf of Robert Isha of Sinorama Skokie, requests a variation in order to increase an existing ground sign to 85 square feet per space with a gross surface area of 170 square feet rather than the 50 square feet maximum per face and 100 square feet maximum gross surface area as required by section 82-27 parentheses D parentheses 2 of the sign chapter of the Skokie Village Code in a B2 commercial district. Would you like me to go on?
Yes, please, if
Why,
you would.
I would love to, thank you. So, in the record, we have a letter of ownership that I'll read into the record. To who it may concern, this is to certify that I, Matt Kozel, is the owner and president of 3647 Dempster LLC, which is the entity that owns the strip mall in question here. And there is also another document I'd like to read, which is titled Letter of Authorization, to whom it may concern. I, Matt Kozel, hereby authorize Robert Isha, representative of Sinorama Skokie, to appear at the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting on my behalf to appeal petition for the proposed sign addition for existing sign at 3647 Dempster LLC Plaza. And that's signed by the owner of 3647 LLC, Matt Kozel. So that's a power of attorney. Now, there are two statements, one from Matt Kozel, one from Sinorama, the authorized representative. I'm going to read both into the record. They're somewhat similar. I would like to acquire a variance for one of my tenants, Chateau Gina, and Gina is spelled Gena, and install a sign addition to an existing sign. Currently, the existing sign stands at 14.5 feet tall. The new addition would increase the sign height to 18 feet. However, the sign area at the moment has already been used up the full capacity of square footage allowed for the sign. This was not an issue when there were only two tenants in the plaza during the original install date of the sign. Since then, we have partitioned some of the storefronts and added a new tenant, Chateau Gina, to the plaza. They hold a significant amount of space in relation to the plaza. They would like to establish a foothold in their location by adding their name info to the existing sign. The base of the sign seems a little large at the moment. We feel that the new addition would balance the look of the signpost as well as generate more exposure for Chateau Gina. The base and structure of the sign should support the addition and would not require any changes to the foundation of the sign. The new addition would be installed on top of the existing sign, and that's signed by Matt Kozel, the owner of 3647 Dempster LLC. I also have a statement from Sinorama. It's not signed except by Sinorama Skokie. It's on their letterhead dated July 30th, 2018. We are requesting a variance for the ground sign located at 3647 Dempster Street, Skokie, Illinois, on behalf of the new tenant, Chateau Gina, Salon and Laser Spa. We have an approval letter from the property owner to add a new cabinet on top of the existing ground sign. The approval letter is attached with the variance packet. The current sign stands at 14.5 feet height. The cabinet addition is 3.5 feet high and would make the existing sign a total of 18 feet high, which is according to the village code. However, the maximum area allowed for a multi-tenant sign is 100 square feet, which was already used at a time when there were only two tenants at the location. We are requesting to add an additional 35 square feet per each side of the ground sign for Chateau Gina Salon and Laser Spa. As the tenant has invested a lot of time and money in the business, they would like to add more visibility to their salon. Tenant strongly believes that advertising the business on the ground sign will make an impact on business, since incoming and outgoing traffic on Dempster is substantial. And then the rest of the record includes some drawings and photographs and so on.
Okay, I think we can go ahead and we can stop there, and we'll go ahead and proceed with what the petitioner has to say. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Could you please tell us your name and spell it so we may have it for the record?
My name is Robert Isha.
Okay.
Last name spelled E-S-H-A.
Okay, and you are the owner of the Signorama that?
No, I'm just a representative.
Oh, representative of Signorama. Okay, I'm sorry. But you're here to represent, per what Commissioner Perlin said, you're here to represent Mr. Kozel.
That's correct.
Okay, so anything that we agree upon tonight, Mr. Kozel will have no problem with
That's
the
right.
outcome of the situation?
Yes.
Okay, great. You want to tell us the reason why we're here tonight?
I thought he said...
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, thank you. Before we start, could you please raise your right hand so we can swear you in? Okay. Do you affirm that the testimony you are about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge or belief?
I do.
Okay, great. Thank you. Go ahead. Thank you.
So we wanted to add the additional cabinet to the sign there right now, and upon doing that, we had realized that the sign area had already been used at an earlier time, so we wanted to go through the variance route. I'm sorry.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to add at this time?
This is my first time doing this, so I don't,
No
I don't
worries.
know what I'm supposed to say.
We're user-friendly here, so it's okay. I'll tell you what, let's have Commissioner Perlin give us his viewpoint and his thoughts on your case.
Sure. So I've gone by there a couple times. I'm familiar with the area. I understand the dilemma. There's an existing sign, and so to make everything fit according to code, and the code requires of more than one tenant, it's 100 square feet, 50 per side, you would have to take down the sign and put a new one up, and that's prohibitively expensive. My concern is really the height of the sign, because when we grant a variance, one of the big guiding principles is that we allow it basically the minimum amount necessary to achieve the objectives. So one guideline for that might be to say, what's the biggest sign? That's the Vogue lighting, which is 32 inches, and say, would it be possible, if not to go to 32 inches, something closer to that rather than the 42 inches, which is 30% more. More than, but right about 30% more.
Yeah.
So that would be my concern. I want to know, Robert, if you have any thoughts on that, or any considerations, or any other options that might result in something that's a little bit not as tall.
We collaborated with our designer, and we just thought that in order to convey the name and the logo properly in relation to the other names on the signs, we needed to go that height. As you could see, the letters of Chateau Gina are about the same, if not shorter height than the Vogue lighting in the Boston market. So that's part of the reason why we went that high, is because we wanted to just, match the ratio of the other signage.
Do you have an option for a one that's a little bit shorter?
Well, we did, and I saw the notes that you guys sent, so I came prepared for that. So we did a little mock-up with the 32-inch in height. We just saw a lot of dead space on the sides of the sign, and then the name just kind of looks really small because their font is fairly thin. It's not as bold as the other names.
If I may, since Brian, can we put this on the overhead? Will it be okay? Yeah. Let's go ahead and do it that way rather than passing it around to everybody.
So you're using a computer now exclusively.
Yeah.
You have everything.
Look at that. Oh, so you're up with the modern technology there, staff. Awesome.
Yeah.
So this is at the 32-inch height and what the
Well,
proposed
it's
layout
because of
would
the-
look like.
The logo's
Okay.
the same size.
It's something I'd like to address to you, sir. In looking at the lovely, full-color mock-ups that we were presented with in our packet, I noticed that, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm looking at the proposed storefront, which I believe you're just to the right of the Boston Market here. That's the red and white awning. Is that correct? The proposed
I don't have
location?
the photo in front of me, but
Well,
Yeah,
it's-
it's that one. Yeah.
It's existing.
Yeah. So what I wanted to say is that on the logo that's on the facade of the building for your client, doesn't really have the widget on there that we see present in the backlit sign. So
do you mean the little logo at the
that's-
top?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Yeah, that probably, we didn't install that sign for them, but I think the logo would have been a little too pricey for them to add it there, just to shape it out and convert it into a channel letter.
So I understand your concern with if you were to do the full logo treatment with the widget over the Chateau Gina, would make the Chateau Gina smaller. Could you just basically do away with the widget itself and be able to increase the size left to right of the Chateau Gina signage, which would enable to get you some size, not have so much white space to the left and right, and
Yes, that is possible, and we've offered that to the client,
Okay.
and they really wanted to include their logo since it's not on their main sign. I could address that with them again, and and see if they want to go that route.
Well, and the other thing, too, that I'm thinking is, at least from my perspective, is something in between. In other words, more than 32 and less than 42.
Their logo, actually, that little logo at the top, in their original logo, is actually much larger in relation to the name. So we actually had to make it smaller to fit it in the panel that we're adding on for them.
yeah, got it.
Yeah. So if there's any thoughts that other people might have, but my feeling might be something in between those two numbers might be reasonable.
Um,
Can I ask a question? Brian?
Yeah.
18 feet is allowable, right? If that isn't the issue, the height?
Correct. The 18-foot is a allowable height for a ground sign, and they are meeting that requirement to the best of my knowledge.
Or
So
very
that's
close to it.
the height of the entire height of the ground sign has not been an issue. It's the face of the sign.
the square footage.
Right.
Correct, just the sign
Right,
face, yes.
so-
It's a very wide sign, and I think that's
But
the,
making it shorter,
reduces the square footage.
right, but the height of it isn't, not an
The
issue.
height of it's not an issue. Right, right. It's the idea, I think, to have a look that's somewhat consistent, with these kinds of signs.
Also, the part of the reason that we decided to maximize on the 18 feet was, as you could see, the base is ridiculously large and wide, and just kind of, with Vogue Lighting and Boston Market there by themselves, just kind of looked awkward with the size of the base, and we just thought that it probably, it just looked a lot more balanced with the 18-foot in height.
Although it's been there a long time that way.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So in other words, what you're saying is maxing it out to the 18-foot height gives it a better aesthetic than it otherwise would have. It's debatable. Is there any other questions for Petitioner by
Right.
anybody?
I think it might be good to pursue the notion of having that compromise type of height prior to making a motion for what's been requested.
Mhm.
That's kind
But-
of what I'm thinking. I don't know if,
It's your case, Commissioner Perlin.
so,
I'll entertain the thought of you and the petitioner conferring directly as to what would be acceptable so that you can make a motion that's acceptable to both what you consider
Right, and then.
and what's good for him.
Right, Alan?
If you look at the staff recommendation,
Yeah,
if we were to approve it, they recommend that we cut it down anyway.
right, well, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the staff's suggestion was no bigger than the biggest one, which is 32.
32.
And what I'm saying is, in terms of what I might propose, split the difference. In other words, 36, 37. You're so-so.
But then we're going to,
Yeah, there you go.
we're going to approve it's a much larger variance than, and we've got to look at other signs that come in, and they say, well, you gave them an 85 square foot variance, we want an 86. So.
Right, well, it wouldn't be, this would be cutting back by about half, or even a little bit more. So here's my thinking, is that there isn't a question in my mind, this is something deserving of a variance because of the circumstances. To me, it fits the definition. But it doesn't fit the definition of the minimum amount to meet the objectives. So in this case, the difficulty is we've used up all our space. And it's inefficient and expensive to, tear down a sign and put up a new one, every one being a little bit smaller. If we limit it to 32, the petitioner's saying, gee, it's not gonna look very good. So, my thinking is maybe some kind of a compromise. And that's what I really wanted to get, Robert, your feeling and, other people on the board.
Could I,
Commissioner, yeah, absolutely. Commissioner Salovey.
what about, as we have done in some cases, if the petitioner would agree to work with the staff and then come back?
Well, the problem with that is that we need to grant a variance to put up any sign at all. And so this could be a case, for example, that could be continued, but it might be good if it's possible to resolve it here tonight, I'm thinking. In other words, you might go back and they might say, we might grant something, and whether we will or not, I don't know, but we might grant something, you might go back and say, we don't want to do it, and say, well, this is what they're giving us.
Staff, did you want to?
Yeah, and due to the size of the existing sign, any addition to the sign will require a variation. So there's not, if they come back with this size sign, they won't need a variation. Any addition to the sign will require variation. When the case was first presented to the Appearance Commission, the staff recommendation to the Appearance Commission was to keep it roughly in line with some of the other signs the two other signs on site, approximately 27 to 32 inches in height, in that range. The Appearance Commission reviewed the requested proposal and approved as is, but the Appearance Commission purview is more the aesthetics of what the sign looks like, not so much looking at, here's the code, this is the variation from the code requirement. So the Appearance Commission did approve the aesthetics of the sign with the design as presented. Staff still felt the recommendation to keep the sign somewhat in line with the two other signs in regards to the height was still a proper recommendation going forward.
So I think, I would say, Robert, our concern, I think, as a board would be, are we sort of rewriting the law if we set a variance at the 42 inches rather than something less than that? And
Yeah, we're
Go ahead,
setting a
sir.
precedent.
Yeah, I was just
We're
gonna.
setting the precedent, and you know how I feel about setting
right,
precedents.
it's not a legal precedent we're setting, but it's a de facto precedent.
Correct.
And that's why I say sort of rewriting the rules.
Right.
In this case, we have the specific facts that warrant giving a variance, but maybe not for the full 42 inches.
So, may I?
Yeah, Commissioner Franklin, of course.
So I just want to ask, how big is the logo?
The height of the logo,
How tall is it? Right.
I mean, I'd say in that format right there, it's probably about 38 to 39 inches in height, probably.
a big logo.
Just the logo, I believe.
I was just.
Oh, just the-
the
I think
logo.
just the I think she's asking just the
I
logo
am.
height.
I am.
It looks like about a little between a third to and a quarter of the 42 inches. So I'd say maybe about
Yeah.
7, 8 inches.
That's what I'm wondering. I understand they want it,
Yeah.
but.
They can't reduce.
Yeah.
They can't get everything they want.
Well, we'll see how it goes,
Right,
but.
it may be possible in other circumstances. My hesitation is, we're really deviating from our guidelines, I think, at the 42 inches.
Yeah, I mean, we want to give them enough space to identify their business. Does the logo need to be included to identify their business? You know, the mock-up that you showed us seemed very good if the logo was removed and the font was increased. So I don't know how important the logo is in identifying it, but, you know, we should give relief in a height that will allow us to at least see the name of the business.
Yeah, the business has been at the site, I believe, since 2014. So they've been on site with 4 years. This site for when the salon moved in, they had to obtain a parking variation because the
I remember.
yes,
That's right.
So they needed a parking variation because the parking for the salon was higher than for the Vogue lighting
Vogue.
site. So it went from a lower parking requirement to a higher parking requirement. And Boston Market, being a restaurant, has a higher parking requirement. So they have been on site without a ground sign for approximately 4 years. So in regards also, just with the heights, the biggest tenant on site is Vogue Lighting. They're
Well, that's what we were
approximately-
just saying. I said, Boston Market has this much, Vogue Lighting has this much, and the Chateau has this much.
Right.
So we're trying to give them a sign that's bigger than the two other tenants.
Right, for whatever it's worth, I think rough numbers, and Brian, you can correct me, but I think about 4,000 square feet for Vogue Lighting, 2,200 square feet for Boston Market, and 1,800 square feet for the salon, and then I think the plumbing supply is smaller.
Yes.
Am I correct with that?
Yeah, with
Yeah,
with
that's
the
my
old parking
recollection.
analysis, those are the numbers off the old
Yeah.
parking analysis.
So
So-
anybody have any feelings about splitting the difference?
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense, you know, due to the type of font, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe it would need to be a little bit bigger than Vogue Lighting, because Vogue Lighting is very bold, and it's bigger. This is a, you know, skinny font, cursive. So, you know, I would agree with you, maybe a little bit more, but not the 40-some inches.
Yeah, but if you take the logo off,
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
fit everything
Yeah.
within the 32.
Yeah.
And they don't have the logo on the building. They've been there 4 years, so the logo's not going to make a big deal because nobody knows what the logo is if they've been going there.
Was the mock-up that you showed us for the smaller size, was that 32?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, well,
Can you
maybe
put
then
that back up?
32. If you remove the logo, then the font could
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
increased, yeah.
Right, but we can always grant, here's what you got, decide if you want to do it. That's what I
Good old input B.
I think 36 is okay. 36. It's 37 to the middle.
Yeah, there's the 32.
Yeah.
Just take the logo out.
If you just take the logo out, you know, we don't mean to be the style police or anything, but if we were to keep it at 32, you take out the widget, you're basically having the same exact size font as you would as the 42, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, we also did ask the tenant if they wouldn't mind having the little logo on the side of the name, but
There you go.
you know, that just completely deviates from their logo, because in their mind, their whole logo is the
way-
widget along with the name as well.
Except they
Right.
haven't had it for 4 years.
Right, it's not on the building, so,
Right.
Right, it's not in the building and they've been there for
not on the
4 years.
receipts.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, and then they
Pass
feel
them
like,
out on
It's on their letterhead and business
Dempster,
cards.
right?
and- Okay, right.
They can't afford it on the building, so they want it on the sign. You know, I think that's ultimately their decision, whether they
Right.
they keep it or they don't keep it, and they go with a smaller font, that's not up to us.
Right, but the 30, if they want, they want bigger letters,
So that's,
The-
they'll decide that.
take off the, take the.
If I,
Recommended that a sign be no bigger than the bold lighting.
excuse me, if I may, like, refocus us real quick. One of the standards for granting relief is that the petitioner did not create the hardship themselves. I think in this particular instance, the petitioner is creating the hardship themselves.
Well,
So-
any sign.
Any
would-
sign,
would
agreed,
require that.
agreed.
So there wasn't another tenant at the time, so I could make the argument, I think it's a good argument, that they didn't create the hardship because there wasn't another tenant at the time, and so they used up the maximum square area with what they thought would be all that they would need with those, 2 places of business. And I think one of the difficulties, the sign's very wide. And Vogue has that very bold font, and that's why.
It's like Commissioner Gersner said. It's funny that they have the place with the smallest square footage, yet they're asking for the largest sign of the 3. There's something that's,
Right.
paradoxical about
And
that.
that's one of the things that,
Yeah.
I was aware of, and that's why I actually called to get the square footage, because from this frontage, that appeared to be the case, and in fact it is. Now, other arguments could be made. Somebody could say, well, gee, it's smaller but busier or something like that. But it still is smaller.
I don't know, I think Boston Market's pretty busy at times.
Yeah.
'Cause I go to Boston Market.
That's kind of what I'm saying, yeah. So, how about,
Yeah, okay.
okay,
Citizen comment.
no, I think this is a very fruitful discussion because we're trying to let Robert leave with something in his pocket, something that he can go to his clients with.
He will leave with something in his pocket. It's to the extent of the size
Right,
is
right, and that's
what's
why I think
being
this is a very
determined.
fruitful
It's
discussion.
gotta fit in his pocket, okay?
Yeah. Yeah. So, want to stretch it a little, 34?
I don't, personally, I don't see, not even a 10% difference making it, it's either 42 or it's 32, That's what it seems like to me.
Right, I think it just creates a little bit of a buffer, just in case, In other words, it might end up being 32, because you're not going to do the logo and that sign.
If they want to get the maximum visual identity, speaking as a sign guy, my
Right.
own self,
Yes.
to get the maximum
Professional
visual.
here.
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't like to do that, but, is you just get rid of the widget, that's all. Then you still have the verbiage big enough to where it can be seen from a long distance. You're a sign guy, it's 1 inch for every 10 feet for maximum distance, for best legibility. So what's the capital height of Chateau Gina as it stands right there? And if in this particular size, because we know that this size would be smaller, is smaller than if you remove the widget, then the size would actually be increased on that 32. Do you know what the cap height is for that?
That I don't know. No, we didn't try it out without the logo just yet. But I mean, that's something we could
Okay.
we could
But
always.
what I'm trying to discern is, like, what's the maximum visual impact that we can get? Is it going to be like 100 feet away if it's a 10-inch letter? Something like that. And that certainly looks a lot bigger than 10-inch the way it is right now.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
Yes.
okay.
I'd say that's probably. It looks like it's about 24 to 25 probably inches in height.
Yeah, because it's
And that's a backlit sign, right?
And it's a backlit sign. Is it black, it's black lettering on a white Lexan?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so it's,
Right, so my purpose here in having this discussion is if I make a proposal, again, I'd like to have Robert come away with something.
he will come away with something. There's no
Well,
question
the
about
other
that.
he's
my
gonna come
proposal
away.
doesn't pass, somebody could make another motion.
I prefer to concur with the community development's
Okay.
findings, which would, for it to be the same size as Vogue Lighting.
Okay,
That's my personal opinion.
right, no, and that's important because then we don't have to be involved with multiple motions and potentially things not passing.
Right. And then we don't have to worry about setting a precedent
Right.
either.
And, you know, what's going to happen is it's never been up there before. They're going to drive by, they're going to say, Vogue, what's that on top of Vogue Lighting? I've never seen that before.
It'll be the freshest looking sign of
Right.
the three.
Oh, by
Yeah.
that
You
by
know.
far. Those signs, I think, are from the 1800s.
At least as long as our temple's been there.
Yes, that's right, which is a very long time.
That's right.
That being said, can you imagine how brittle that polycarbonate must be?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, look at the discoloration on it.
Yeah.
That's what that's.
I'd assume it was white when it was first put up.
It's not white
You drop it,
anymore.
it's gonna shatter into a million
Which
pieces.
is an irony for the lighting supplier.
Yes,
that's- That's true.
that's
So-
very funny.
That's true.
Okay, so I think we have our marching orders here.
Well, is there anything you'd like to close up with?
No.
Sir? No? Is there any comments from the audience? I believe you're waiting for the next case, sir? Okay, very good.
You can make a comment if you like.
Great. Any other comments from staff or any other of my cohorts here? If not, then the chair's ready to entertain a motion.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to grant a variance, Mr. Chairman, and I'm proposing granting this variance to the petitioner as follows, that petitioner, which is 3647 Dempster LLC, which is the owner of the lot described in case number 2018-11Z, which is located at 3641 to 3647 Dempster. This is a strip mall. It's on the south side of Dempster, and it's bounded on the east and the west by streets. It's, again, the city and county are Skokie and Cook County, Illinois. It's a plotted lot of record. The determination has been made in which the petitioner's request is consistent with the majority of the findings of fact as stated in the Village of Skokie zoning chapter. I therefore propose that a variance be granted to the petitioner for giving failure to comply with the following requirements of the zoning board, and specifically, we are talking about section 82-27D2, which states that a ground sign in a mall with more than one occupant is allowed 50 square feet per face with a maximum of 100 square feet. The variance that I am proposing in this motion would allow for an additional sign on top of the two signs that exist with a height of 32 inches. And the petitioner will comply with all other codes and ordinances of the Village of Skokie, and that's my motion.
All right,
Just
okay.
throw in there that it would be 76.7 square foot, is that right, Brian? The variance that they'd actually be requesting?
I think it's 10 feet or 12 feet.
Th-
Well, there's the footage up on there. It's 32 by 120
So
and
it's
an
10
eighth.
feet, yeah.
Well, it's 10 feet wide and 2.5 feet high.
Yeah, the actual variance then would be 76.7 square feet per sign face and a gross surface area of 153.4 square feet.
Hey, why don't we make it 155, just to allow for errors?
32 inches hits
it's-
those numbers exactly.
Yeah,
It-
you can't make an error that it would look
Okay,
weird.
so read that number again into the record, Brian.
So that it would be
Right.
26.
Not only that, but on
maybe if
his
the sign
schematic
goes
up
like
there, he's
this.
got it 120 and an eighth inches wide, so that's about as specific as you can get.
Right, well, that's what I'm saying, because I think we might have been using 120 or something, I just
Yeah,
wanted to be sure.
yeah.
With the 32-inch max height
Flare
for
at
the
the top.
additional sign
Like
would
Las
result in
Vegas.
76.7 square feet per sign face and a gross surface area of 153.4 square feet.
Okay, so let's read that into the record. The variance will allow an additional sign on top with 76.7 square feet per sign face, and then 153.4 square feet in total to be placed on top of the existing signs.
Does that sound good, Corporation Counsel?
good to me.
Okay, good. All right, so we have a motion to approve with the very specific language that's been included in it. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, Commissioner Gersner seconds the motion. The chair will go ahead and call the roll then. Commissioner Perlin,
Yes.
Commissioner Franklin,
Aye.
Commissioner Shaw,
Yes.
Commissioner Gersner,
Aye.
Commissioner Jacobson,
Aye.
Commissioner Kirkpatrick,
Aye.
Commissioner Arden.
Yes.
Commissioner Salvi.
Aye.
And Chair will vote aye. Okay, so in the case of 2018-11Z, the motion to grant with the very specific size language has been passed unanimously. Corporation Counsel, what does the petitioner need to know from here on out?
We will prepare the covenant running with the land. It'll probably be ready in about 2 to 3 weeks, and when it's ready, we'll give you a call for the property owner's signature, then they can get the building permit.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Good luck with your project. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
What is the sign case today?
I know.
Okay, all right, King, great. So we'll go ahead and we'll move on to our next case, which is 2018-12Z, and I believe Commissioner Shaw is presenting that one. So as the petitioner steps up to the podium, Commissioner Shaw, the floor is yours. Go ahead and present the case.
Can we say that one question about
Oh,
the
oh,
notice?
oh.
I forgot about that.
Should we do we want to go ahead and do that now
let's just-
before?
I guess just to make sure notice is proper before we even hear the case.
Okay, okay, that makes sense. Sir, would you mind stepping to the podium real quick, please? Okay. Can we have your name and spell it so we have it for the record, sir?
Yes, it's Bill Lyons, and the last name is Lyons.
Okay, Bill. I believe Corporation Counsel has a question for you.
Keep them under oath first as well.
Yes. Raise your right hand, please. Do you affirm that the testimony you are about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge or belief?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Corporation Counsel has a question for you.
Just a couple of questions for you. It says here that notice was issued on October 18, 2018, according to this document here. Do you have personal knowledge that it was in fact mailed on the 18th of October?
I don't have personal knowledge of
Okay.
that.
Do you know who Karen is?
Just for a second, if it's in the file. My role at Room and Board, I'm the Director of Design and Construction at Room and Board, and I'm the in-staff architect. And so we have contracted with the sign vendor to procure and
Okay.
develop this.
I'll just say on the record, we do have a notarized statement here saying the notice was issued on October 18th, and we'll take it as suffice and proper and correct and move forward.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Commissioner Gersner.
Who has to get notice of this?
People within 250 square feet,
Okay,
property owners and
so the,
taxpayers of record, I believe.
To any property owner within 250 feet of the subject property.
okay, so, well, no, there, behind it is all residential. Do those people have to have notice?
Oh, like Peach Park.
Yeah.
There is
Yes, they are. Yep.
4 pages of addresses here. So It
Yeah,
looks
we-
like notice is proper.
We
And it's
usually,
checked before.
yeah, we usually have one of the other staff members in planning check the notice to make sure that the correct addresses were notified.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, great. So, everything satisfied as far as notice is concerned,
We can move
Corporation
forward.
Counsel?
Yep, we can move forward.
Okay. Commissioner Shaw, please go ahead and proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. GMLA Property, on behalf of Integrity Sign Company, requests a variation in order to install three-wall sign facing a street frontage rather than one maximum as required by Section 82-28B, 1B of the sign chapter of the Skokie Village Code in B2 Commercial District. And I will read the petitioner statement here. Dear Zoning Board of Appeal member, Room and Board Incorporated respectfully request a relief from the Village of Skokie Sign Code Section 82-28B1A. The property is a retail furniture showroom. Visibility to a new and existing customer passing by on Skokie Boulevard is critical to our business and the visibility of this showroom location. It can be difficult to see the building signage for southbound vehicle due to the combination of the orientation of the L-shaped building and the foliage of the existing boulevard trees along Skokie Boulevard. By adding an additional street facing sign on the west end of the west wing will dramatically improve the visibility. Currently, there is a one sign facing Skokie Boulevard, which is approximately 130 square foot. Our new signage proposal include two signs facing Skokie Boulevard, which is 38.5 square foot each. This adds up to 77 square feet, which is a 40% reduction in the square footage of the signage facing Skokie Boulevard. Our request for relief is not a matter of most signage is better, but that better placed signage is more effective. And signed by Jerome Larson from Room and Board Construction Manager. And I'd like to read, should I read the comments from Community Development Department? Just the first paragraph.
Just the first paragraph. Let's go with that.
Okay, so this is a comment from Community Development Department. Room and Board is proposing to install a third wall sign on the northernmost portion of the west facade. There are currently two wall signs on the building, one facing south and one facing west along the southern and west facade, and one ground sign located along Skokie Boulevard.
Okay, good. Thank you, Mike. Okay, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Again, you're Bill Lyons,
Yes.
and you work for,
I'm the Director of Design and Construction at Room and Board.
Okay, very good.
In Minneapolis.
okay. So everything that we go over here tonight, your organization has no problem, the JMLA has no problem with-
Correct. Yes.
with you representing them?
Yes.
Okay, great, because I really didn't see anything in our packet saying you specifically,
Oh, okay.
so I just wanted to get that on the record, that
Yes.
anything that we agreed to tonight.
JLM Properties is John Gabbard, who owns Room and Board.
Okay, all right, very good. All right, please tell us why we're here tonight.
All right. Well, what you see in front is the existing conditions. The store is under construction right now. We were here with the Appearance Commission a few months ago and went through the finishes, and that was all approved. And so we moved ahead, and now we're respectfully asking for the sign variance. And so what you see is that we've got, I don't know if you can hear me if I get up here. So Skokie Boulevard is here. This is one of the signs that faces Skokie Boulevard. It faces towards the west. We have another sign, and it's a little hard to see, that faces really the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's even a better idea. May I borrow your pen? This here faces the parking lot or faces
South.
right?
Mhm.
And so we don't have any signage on this part of the building. We do have a large monument sign, which we are reducing in size and actually moving to a new entrance that we are developing. So that's existing conditions.
Okay.
We also have an awning that has a Room and Board logo on that has since been removed. There was a clipped corner, like a 45-degree corner, a 45-degree corner that we've straightened up, so there's no canopy there. So that signage is being removed.
Okay.
Which face is the bottom left picture? Which direction is that facing?
This,
North and south.
yeah, faces north.
The sign on Skokie Boulevard?
No, the bottom left picture,
That's facing west.
Oh, this faces west.
Is a L-shaped
across the
property.
street.
Yeah, right.
I'm there all the time.
Yeah, right.
I've been trying to figure out what was going on over there.
So here's the site plan. So
I have no idea
Skokie
what
Boulevard
they were doing.
is here. This is the size. This is the orientation of the store. Right now, there's a clipped corner, like I said, that we're taking away. We're changing the parking because we're reducing the parking square footage. We don't have to have the sea of parking that we have there. And then we're adding a lot of green space, as you can see. So native plantings and green space and such. And so the signage that we're looking at, this will be the outcome of the final design, but specifically more on the signage. This is what we're looking at. And so we're looking at still having one large sign that faces the parking lot, and that's over our entrance.
And that's facing south.
That's facing south. That is correct.
South or west?
South.
This elevation is the south elevation.
South.
So into the parking lot.
Yep, so into the parking lot, which really is,
Yeah, but I understand, but it doesn't look,
it's really this sign here that faces south into the parking lot, above a trellis, the
yeah, I
pergola
was
that
gonna
we're
say,
doing.
that's facing south.
That's
Right.
correct.
Right.
That's,
Okay.
that's looking to the northeast.
Yep, that's facing
Right.
south.
Like I said,
And
I'm
so
there
the
all
other
time.
two signs that we're proposing are on the other elevation, which are both west. So this is,
The west elevation.
Right.
Okay, yeah. Going on that big
That's
brick
right.
wall.
Yes.
this is the outermost facing on Skokie Boulevard. If you remember, the building is an L shape. And so we're proposing to put signage here, and then removing the big sign that was up above here and bringing it down underneath and creating a smaller sign. So technically, there's not 3 signs that are facing Skokie Boulevard. There's 2 signs that are facing Skokie Boulevard. So we're asking for a variance to have 1 additional sign to face Skokie Boulevard. And as it was written, or as we heard, is that there's technically only 2 signs that we're looking at for Skokie Boulevard. And then due to the configuration of the building and signage, from nearly all vantage points, you'll only see really 2 signs at one time. Again, talking about the signs that were there previously, they were 2 larger signs, and they had a combined square footage of 260 square feet, not counting the awning sign that is being removed that had Room and Board over it. And the new signs, all total, are going to be 154 square feet, which is a reduction of 40 square feet of signage. The 2 new signs that we're proposing that are actually facing on Skokie Boulevard are more pedestrian in nature. We're bringing them down. And the signage is more subtle. It's dark gray on wood versus dark against that red brick. So again, a little bit more sophisticated, more subtle, but still giving Room and Board the exposure and the signage that we would love to have.
Yeah, okay, great. Anything else you'd like to add at this time, Mr. Lyons?
No.
No? Okay. We'll let Commissioner Shah give us his impressions on the case.
Okay, so you have one old signage right now is facing south. Are you keeping that signage, or is that signage going to come out?
The sign that is facing south is going to be a new sign,
What the hell they were doing.
and it is,
I see already only one sign over there.
there's two signs now, if that's what you're asking.
Okay, so you have one sign facing south.
One,
Where is the other one?
one is facing west.
Right, so,
Yeah, but I see something is not a real,
right, so let me make sure I understand this right. This may answer your question. This may answer your question. So there's right now a higher up sign that's facing south. That's going to be removed, and there's going to be a smaller sign also facing south and lower down. Is that correct, Mr. Lane?
This sign here is facing west,
Right.
and it is coming away entirely, so it's going away. The sign that's facing south is this sign here.
right, that's the one I'm talking. It's going to stay there or it's gonna come out?
It's going to come out, it's going to
Okay.
get smaller, and it's going to move over here to highlight our new entrance or pergola.
And it's gonna come down, correct?
It'll be lower.
No,
Oh,
it won't be lower.
Okay,
That,
that's-
That one sign that's facing south into the parking lot is not coming down.
oh, okay. That's over
That's the one
that's
I'm-
over the new entrance.
That's correct. It
They
is.
moved over the new entrance.
Correct. So
Okay.
this is a
Okay.
little washed out, but right now, if you will, that sign is float somewhere in here against
Right.
that red brick. This is going to be white. We're moving it down. It's getting smaller in relationship to the new pergola, and that's how we're achieving that 40% reduction in square footage. And then it's calling attention to the front entrance, which is going to have this pergola, which becomes this approach or this alley into the new front entry.
So how many entrance you have? I see only one entrance.
We have one entrance. That's correct.
So are you planning to have two entrance? Because I see you have a renovation going on. I couldn't figure it out. It's going to be one entrance?
Yes, there's one entrance. I can show you on the site map here really quick. So currently, the orientation of the building is exactly the same. There's a 45-degree corner on that has an awning on it now. We're clipping that off and we're squaring that up, so it's a 90-degree corner, and then there's double doors with an entry vestibule in this area here, so it's one set of doors into the store. And then the signage that we're proposing is on, my finger's in the way, I need that pen back, is on this facing Skokie Boulevard. Thank you, Brian. Facing Skokie Boulevard, again, lower, darker metal against the wood. And then the tall sign that was up above on the parapet, we're bringing that down into the wood at a lower pedestrian size or orientation. So as customers drive in, they're not seeing this big giant monumental sign. They're driving in and then they're seeing it really almost at eye level, if you will.
And you're going to have one entrance now to the parking lot instead of the two.
That is correct.
Okay, so that's going to help.
Yep.
Because currently there's two.
That's
There's
correct.
one by the bank side.
There's one right here.
Right, and then there's one by the funeral home
Right.
side.
So we're maintaining this entrance, we're closing off this, and then we're creating all of this green space where there was all parking now. It'll all be native Illinois landscaping that we're doing.
So altogether, you're going to have a 3 total on a wall sign, right?
Total, our request is 3 signs, that's correct.
Okay, and you also are going to have one ground sign by the entrance?
There's a small ground sign that's happening here, correct. It has a wood base and a dark gray cabinet that matches the character of the building.
Okay. I have a question for Brian. If they have like 3 tenants, do we have to allow 3 separate signs?
Facing the street front for the wall signs,
Yeah.
they would be, the separate tenants would be allowed wall signs over their entrances.
Okay.
They wouldn't each be allowed a sign over their entrance and a sign at another location, to my knowledge.
Any Any other questions for Petitioner at all?
I have a question.
Good. Commissioner Gersner.
Since I live across the street,
Okay.
and I'm there all the time,
Good, thank you.
I've been trying to figure out what you've been doing for, how long has this been going on now?
Since we started construction, this summer, we broke ground in July.
Okay. So now I know what's going on. I think it looks beautiful here, and I think that what you've got by closing off that second entrance is going to make the entrance and exit onto Skokie Boulevard a lot safer, because I've seen some near misses on that area. And the sign, that sign that comes down there, I kind of look at that like an accent sign, more than a street sign. And the sign, the ground sign at the entrance to the parking lot will be visible coming up and down Skokie Boulevard, and that's probably what people are going to see. So I think it's going to look real nice.
Thank you.
I was looking at the schematics for everything. This is the type of lettering that at night it's backlit, so it has like the white halo around the lettering, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's reverse channel lit, so it's not harsh.
Nice.
Yeah,
It'll just glow along the wood.
Right.
You know, wood is really pretty when you light it, so it'll be lit on the wood. It'll just glow soft.
I hope you get the for the style that's going on with this. I hope you get the commensurate, amount of business desired.
That's
out
our
of it.
goal.
So.
$3 million investment into this, so.
Yeah, yeah. Because I was thinking about, like signage, something comparable that's already in existence. And even though it's a lot bigger facility, but there's the Floor and Decor that we have here in Skokie that's on Oakton and McCormick, which is a big building, and they got like big signage, but it's really huge backlit Buckeye-type stuff,
Right.
Whereas this is very stylized. And,
it's, soft and fits our brand.
Yeah. No, that's very nice. Be interested to see what it looks like when it's all done.
Me too.
And not only that, but like you said, you're actually reducing the total square footage from what you have now, even though you're increasing it by one sign.
That's
Is this
correct.
a high-volume store for you that you're doing all this work?
It's certainly a high achieving store. Our Chicago market, we have one in Oak Brook, Skokie, and then downtown Chicago, and the market does really, really well. So we're investing in that. We did a search to see if we should move to a different location, and determined this is a great location for us. We love being in Skokie, and so we're investing that kind of money into it.
The interesting part is that part of Wilmette cuts that piece of property.
It's just
in the back.
It's just to the north.
Right.
Just to the north.
Because when my wife was working there, when Walden Books was there, and the back of Walden Books was partly into Wilmette.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, well, good luck.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions for Petitioner or anything? Anything you'd like to close up with, Mr. Lyons?
No, thank you for your time.
Yeah, great. If there's nothing else, the chair will entertain a motion.
Okay, so motion to grant variance. Mr. Chairman, I propose the following in the granting of the variation to the petitioner as follows. That GMLA property is the owner of the lot described in the case number 1218-12Z for the property located at 10,071 Skokie Boulevard, Skokie, Cook County, Illinois. That said lot is platted lot and record is abuted by a single building sites on east-west of Skokie Boulevard. The determination has been made in which petitioner request is consistent with the majority of the finding of the fact as stated in the Village of Skokie zoning chapter. I therefore propose that variance be granted to the petitioner for giving failure to comply with the requirement of the zoning ordinance of the Village of Skokie as amended as sign ordinance, that the petitioner be granted the variance to 1218-12Z, 10,071 Skokie Boulevard, GMLA property on behalf of Integrity Sign Company request a variation in order to install 3-wall sign facing a street frontage rather than one maximum as required by section 82-28 B 1B of the sign chapter of the Skokie Village Code in B12 Commercial District. That all other codes and ordinance of the village of Skokie shall be fully and strictly complied with.
Okay. All right, we have a motion to grant. Does Chair hear a second?
I'd like to make a second, but I'd like to clarify that that was a B2 commercial district.
Oh,
I
okay.
believe, I thought I heard 12.
Oh, okay.
At any rate.
All right.
Second, thank you.
Okay. All right, great. So we have a second. So we'll go ahead and Chair will call ahead and call the roll. Commissioner Solovey? Aye. Commissioner Arden?
Yes.
Commissioner Kirkpatrick?
Aye.
Commissioner Jacobson?
Aye.
Commissioner Gersner?
Aye.
Commissioner Shaw?
Yes.
Commissioner Franklin?
Aye.
Commissioner Perlin?
Yes.
And the chair will go ahead and vote aye. So in the case of 2018-12Z, the motion to approve has been approved unanimously. So what does the petitioner need to know from here, Corporation Counsel?
Just like the last petitioner, we'll prepare the covenant running with the land, should be ready in about 2 to 3 weeks, and then at that point in time, the property owner can sign it, and you can apply for a building permit.
Great.
And that's it.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, good luck, Mr. Lyons, with
Thank
the
you.
project, and looking forward to see what it looks like when it's done. Okay, great. Okay, that's taken care of. So we have our next meeting, which would be normally November 21st, has been canceled. So our next regularly scheduled meeting will be on December 5th, 2018, and which we will have 4 cases. Well, I can't remember the last time we had a meeting that had 4 cases. Yeah. And that will be 2018-13Z, 7445 Lowell Avenue, 2018-14Z, 9543 Avers Avenue, 2018-15Z, 4837 Jerome Street, and 2018-16Z, 9456 Keystone Avenue. Presenters to be determined. Staff?
In one of the other emails, we did send out proposed case assignments. I'll verify those within the next few days or by next week.
Okay, great. And then I was notified earlier that Commissioner Kirkpatrick will not be here for the December 5th meeting because she'll be someplace nice and toasty and warm. That's good.
That's nice.
Yeah. Okay, great. So we will have, we'll be one short, but hopefully everybody else will be present. So, anything else anybody would like to add? If not, then this meeting of the Village of Skokie Zoning Board of Appeals is adjourned. Thank you very much, and happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Happy